This is an urgent and solemn video message. I know I said I wasn't going to record any other non-Saturday videos until April 22nd, but I want to make an exception for today because, well, the sad thing is, because Gilbert Gottfried passed away. Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried passed away at 67 years old. Gilbert Gottfried is that stand-up comedian with that loud, rough, funky voice. Gilbert Gottfried is a stand-up comedian who got his start in the New Adventures of Wally, House of God, and Bad Medicine. And a lot of people recognize him for voicing Iago, the parrot from Aladdin, and including myself. I remember when he did that, when he voiced that parrot. And he also voices he also voices the Affleck duck. The Affleck commercials. You remember those, right? Affleck insures things that Major Medical will not. But yeah, I'm actually, because I was an avid viewer of PBS Kids back in the 2000s, I actually best know Gilbert Gottfried for his role as Digit on Cyberchase. Cyberchase is currently in its 13th season, and well, there's no doubt that Gilbert Gottfried has been playing Digit for much longer than he's been playing Iago by this point. So whenever I hear Gilbert Gottfried in another cartoon, and he still sounds the same. Whoever he's voicing also always reminds me of Digit. Yeah, it's hard to believe it, isn't it? Yeah, even though I've seen Aladdin, I actually associate Gilbert Gottfried more with Digit because he spent much longer time with Digit. And I know Cyberchase probably isn't as popular as Back to the Future or Aladdin, but I'd be pretty disappointed if it turns out there are very few other people my age, or even people, or even grown-up people who were kids during Back to the Future or Aladdin. I'd be pretty disappointed if nobody else was aware of Christopher Lloyd and Gilbert Gottfried playing the hacker and Digit on Cyberchase for such a long time. You know what I mean? Gilbert Gottfried is 16 years younger than Christopher Lloyd. I kind of thought Gilbert Gottfried had many more years left to live. Yeah, anyhow, this video is dedicated to the loving memory of Gilbert Gottfried. He's I also know him from a lot of other non-Cyberchase cartoons, including, in the past few years, he got to play Sal in the SpongeBob SquarePants episode The Hankering, and then he also got to play Shecky in one episode of that Camp Coral, in one episode of the SpongeBob spin-off Camp Coral, Wise Kraken. That's the very same episode where Brad Garrett voices the Kraken, and he also voiced Robert Otto in Spider Sprig. Sprig is Spider-Man. Sprig is Peter Parker. I guess Molly Jo is Gwen Stacy, and Robert Otto is Dr. Otto Octavius because uses that new arm. He uses that new robot arm from Exterminator to fight back at Sprig. Goes to jail. Live here in the city. Oh yeah, so yeah, back to the topic of Gilbert Gottfried, and yeah, now I haven't watched every single episode of Cyberchase because I don't really know where you can stream full episodes of it, or if there's anything you can buy, you should really look into that. But yeah, Cyberchase is currently airing its 13th season, so as far as I know, season 13 of Cyberchase, Season 13 of Cyberchase is the last season of Cyberchase they made when Gilbert Gottfried was alive. It's really sad to lose such a famous iconic figure all this time. He shouldn't even be that old yet. No. I mean, when you're one of those actors who works on one animated series for a very long time, for more than 1 decade, it's always hard to suddenly lose one of your main actors. And figure out how to go on without them. I mean, I'm glad that hasn't yet happened to the Simpsons because Dan Castellaneta, Nancy Cartwright, Hank Azaria, Harry Shearer, Pamela Hayden, and Tress MacNeille do loads of voices on that show, and it'd be very difficult to find another actor who can do just as many voices. Unless you know Jeff Bergman or Eric Bauza or Gabriel C. Brown. I'm sure they could do it. I myself have actually been training to try to, I can do most of Harry Shearer's voices like Ned Flanders, Seymour Skinner, Dewey Largo, Kent Brockman, Timothy Lovejoy. In case Harry Shearer wants to retire, which she almost did before season 27. But yeah, Archer, that's actually good. Yeah, I want to address something here, Archer is actually, and King of the Hill actually, King of the Hill, the thing is, King of the Hill, the very tragic coincidence of King of the Hill is that it was canceled less than a year before Brittany Murphy died. King of the Hill is, when you lose it, when you lose a long-running voice actor at such a young age, you don't know what you're going to do with yourself. If you have to either remove or replace their parts in a long-running animated series. One of the primary cast members. And what's really sad about King of the Hill is that Brittany Murphy was just 32, and while she definitely has acted in a lot of other good movies during the original running King of the Hill, it's especially saddening to all of her fans that she died of pneumonia and probably only had a few further acting credits after. She only had from what I can remember, she only had 3 other acting credits after King of the Hill's after she completed her parts in King of the Hill's original run. And her husband also died of pneumonia at a young age, a few months later. And Archer is another long-running animated series that is still going on. Jessica Walter, who plays Archer's mom, she died 1 year ago, so yeah, season 12 of Archer is the last season that was made when she was alive, and Archer has been renewed for a 13th season, but I'm not really sure what's going to happen because I never watched that show. So, and the renewal happened after Jessica Walter passed, so that means they'll either have to also have Mallory Archer die in the show, or go on without her, or or find somebody else to do her voice. Well, maybe they can go on without Mallory Archer. Maybe we can still go on with the. I'm sure Sterling Archer and Lana can continue to carry the show without Mallory Archer. John Duncan, Katie Greer. That's what we're talking about. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Cyberchase. Digit and 3 kids. Inez, Jackie, and Matt have been through so much together. I honestly don't know what's going to happen next with Cyberchase. PBS Kids finally figured out how to give Arthur a proper ending this year, and maybe they'll do something with Cyberchase. Maybe Christopher Lloyd wants to stop voicing the hacker and retire just before he turns 90 years old. He's currently 83 years old. So I'm not sure what's going to happen next, but if Cyberchase does make a 14th season, I hope they can find another person who sounds like Gilbert Gottfried to do Digit's voice, because Digit's been Inez, Jackie, and Matt's guide for all these years in cyberspace. In the world of cyberspace, they've gone to lots of many different locations and used math and science to solve their problems. And I feel very sad for the kids that they had to go on without their Digit, their very friend who's been their guide to cyberspace for 20 years. In 13 seasons. So yeah, I'm surprised that the Cyberchase writers haven't completely run out of ideas by this point. When are they finally going to, when is Cyberchase finally going to reach its ultimate conclusion of having the kids get a motherboard and save cyberspace from hacker for good, forever? What are they going to use to finally obliterate the hacker so that Christopher Lloyd can retire from acting in peace? And if Cyberchase does make any new seasons after this year, if Cyberchase can continue to make any new seasons after Gilbert Gottfried's passing, I'm worried about what Digit. I hope they don't write him out. I guess there are ways they could do that without killing him off, but it's just not going to feel the same. It probably just won't feel the same without Gilbert Gottfried, Even if they do get somebody even if they can find somebody else who can copy his Iago and Digit voice, I'm still really going to miss Gilbert Gottfried. It's a silly, wacky, loud, ungravelly voice, and I'm also going to miss that funny but raspy voice, Iago and Digit. All I can hope for now is that in addition to season 12 of SpongeBob and season 1 of Camp Coral, maybe he snagged another guest spot on the first season of Patrick Star Show before his death. That would be a very nice surprise if I did get to hear Gilbert Gottfried's voice in one episode of the Patrick Star Show before the end of season 1. besides, oh man, you know, other than Gilbert Gottfried, my most favorite voice actor in Cyberchase was Anna Gonzalez. You know, that cheery, enthusiastic, quirky voiced girl. You know, she's you know what I mean, she's been playing. She's been voicing Inez ever since she was. She's been voicing Inez ever since she was about 17 years old. We're 16, you know, and you know, and it's really sad because you know, it's very sad for her, you know, to lose an idol that she's known for 20 years because you know, because Christopher Lloyd and Gilbert Gottfried live in the United States and the rest of Cyberchase's cast lives in Toronto. I bet they don't get to see each other a lot unless there are certain Cyberchase fan conventions that would pit them together. That would move them together, have them visit at the same convention. Yeah, but yeah, I really miss Digit, and I hope Cyberchase's producers plan on wrapping up very soon. Hopefully, have the 15th season be their last one, like Supernatural. And I really hope Cyberchase can find a suitable new voice for Digit instead of setting him away or killing him off for good. I know that'll be very, very sad for Inez. She's my most favorite one of the 3 Cyberchase kids. She had almost as much positive energy in her as Twin Heroes. I hope the closest thing in respective cartoon can to a female lead. Well, actually nothing. Yeah, I guess maybe Digit's actually the main protagonist of Cyberchase, so is, you know, the hacker's the antagonist. I mean, of course, this isn't the first time Cyberchase has lost the main cast member because Len Carlson, who played Buzz, also died too early between the 4th and 5th episodes of the 5th season, and Philip Williams became the new voice for Len Carlson's Buzz. So if Cyberchase can recast Buzz early on its run, maybe they can also recast Digit too. But it's going to be much harder to replace Gilbert Gottfried's iconic, distinct voice that was known for so many years. I've all known and loved, listened to in small doses for 30 years. Wow, minus 3 years old now. Well, I certainly hope Gilbert Gottfried can at least get to reunite with Robin Williams and Len Carlson in the afterlife anytime soon. He'll probably be searching for them. I hope you care about Gilbert Gottfried as much as I do, if not more. I know everybody who knows who he is and cares about him is going to be very sad that they lost their longtime voiceover star who played Digit in Cyberchase, because he taught them a lot about numbers, shapes. So yeah, I don't know yet if Cyberchase's 13th season will be its last, but if they are going to make any further seasons without Gilbert Gottfried, just wait and see YBER Chase! Girl, oh girl, that is one catchy theme song. Yeah, I really like, I also like Anna Gonzalez's voice in Photography. It's really perfect voicing Sierra in Total Drama World Tour, and you know, an interesting fact about Anna Gonzalez, she is First Nations Abenaki Canadian, which means, you know, she was from a tribe of people who, she's descended from people who are native to Canada. You know, it's like how, you know, we have Native Americans, and you know we have also Native Canadians who are similar skin color. Yeah, that's what Aniko von Salwen is. But you should know that. But if you're curious to know a little bit more about that horrible girl who voices Inez, now you know. I was pretty fascinated to find out that myself. Yeah, so yeah, my thoughts and prayers, to grievances and deepest condolences go out to everybody who cared about Gilbert Gottfried, especially the cast of Aladdin and Cyberchase. And I hope the cast and crew of Cyberchase can move on soon enough and figure out what to do without Gilbert Gottfried, and if they want to write Ditched Out or not. That is all, folks. I would hate to see Aniko von Salwen be unable to go on without Gilbert Gottfried, especially when they probably haven't had a lot of chances to meet. So yeah, that's why I'm pulling for her and the rest of Cyberchase's cast to you know, to move on in a healthy way once they finished grieving over the loss of their dearly beloved longtime friend Gilbert Gottfried.